Welcome. My name is Jim Ellison. I'm the Chief of Older Adult Services for Oakland County. We're from the government. We're here to help. I'm kind of supposed to draw a laugh. Come on. Older Adult Services is a division that the County Commission enacted about 3 years ago to help give a department that we can interact with our seniors and answer direct questions and help them in any way we can. So that's where we're starting. Let's go through this. Myself and Denisha Weathersby are the department. The two of us, we work closely with the Public Communications Department and Community Engagement. Community Engagement is who sponsored this program this morning. Oh, am I doing this? Just
hit the arrow. Yep.
Okay. There's myself and Denisha. Denisha does most of the work. I'm the beauty. These are the main things we look for. It's all about communication. Yes, sir. These are our main focuses as senior, as older adult services. These are what we're trying to provide. It's all about communication. We got to get communication out. The county commission realized a number of years ago that we could be doing more to help our seniors. So that's where our department came from. So we have a dedicated department, myself and Denisha, and we focus on these ideals. We do have a senior helpline. You can call anytime, leave messages, or usually get a hold of one of us at our desk. Ask us any questions. We do a lot of referrals and steer you in the right direction for a lot of help. These are the various community outreach things we do. We do senior expos. We do town halls like this. We go to the zoo on senior day. Every one of those we've attended to help distribute the information. We have senior expos that we co-sponsor. We've already had March 10th and March 19th, to be honest, but we have one coming up in August at the J out in Farmington Hills, September 1st at the Southfield Pavilion, and October 6th at Royal Oak Farmers Market. And these are expositions. We sponsor this with Senior Expos USA, and they bring in all the vendors and stuff so you can gather information to make life easier as a senior living in the county. That's Denisha and myself at our last Zoo Day event, which was last year. So I want to talk about the Senior Resource Guide. This is probably the most important document we have. We have a bunch of them back on the counter back there. But what it does is it gives you everything you need to know. As I told people the other day, if you're a senior in Oakland County, this is the most valuable piece of literature you can have. It's got all the phone numbers for all the departments. It's got all the emergency phone numbers. It's got contacts for your county commissioner. It's got locations for your senior centers. It's got locations for all the parks. So as a senior in the county, have one of these. And we have town hall events, these empower hours, we call these, where we come together and gather and share information and take questions and answers. And as much as anything, we want to know what you're thinking so we can help provide the services you want. I think that's what I got. Oh yeah, I'm getting to Kathleen. I got my boss back here. Joining me up here is Kathleen London. She's liaison for the county commission. I think she's here representing Commissioner Gershonen today. And so I want to give Kathleen a little bit of time to talk about what the county commission's role in this is. Let me take this thing off. It's not going to help. Yeah, just put it back on there.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning. My name is Kathleen London, and as Jim said, I am the Senior Community Liaison for the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And I'm here to say good morning and to welcome you on behalf of Commissioner Marcia Gershenson. She is your county commissioner for District 11, which is where we are at right now. Unfortunately, she was unable to be here this morning, but here's some contact information for her, a little bit about her. There are also some of her business cards in the back, and we also have a flyer back there for all the transit options in Oakland County, along with a flyer of how you can get a little bit more involved with your local county government. I'm here to help if I can collect any questions or concerns that you'd like me to pass along personally to Commissioner Gershenson. I'm happy to do so. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the program.
Thanks, Kathleen. Our next speaker is from the IT department, here to give you some help and advice on internet scams that are happening. This is my good friend Adam France from IT department, Oakland County.
What do you know? The tech worked first try. That's new. So I'm Adam France. I'm with the information security team over at Oakland County. I'm their supervisor, which means I'm running herd on keeping the tools, techniques, and people on our team running top notch and protecting our citizens' data best we can. They brought me out here today because they wanted to have a voice on some of the technology-driven challenges we're seeing for this community. Specifically, I wanted to go over basics on why scams work, common scams to look out for, as well as basically what you can do to stay safe, how you can help yourselves, how you can help your community, your family members. Why scams work. It's one of my favorite quotes. People believe a lie because they fear it to be true or because they want it to be true. Scammers take advantage of these deep-rooted drives in all of us. We don't want to be unfairly accused. We don't want to get in trouble. We do want to be safe, and we do want our families and friends safe. These are basics. Everybody knows these, which means every bad guy knows these. They're going to try to take advantage of us. When we are worrying about being unfairly accused, some of the pretexts we're seeing are payment notifications for a product or service you didn't approve. This is where, hey, we got this bill. Thanks for buying your new iPhone on Amazon. I didn't buy that. Oh my gosh, what's going on? And our instinct is to defend ourselves, to click that link. The moment you do, you're engaging on their terms, you're engaging in their world, you're leaning on technology they understand better than some of us do. That's what they want. Fine or fee from some government agency. Hey, you're 2 years late on your taxes, we're gonna take your house. That's common. Hey, you've got these traffic fines for a toll booth in Michigan. Where'd you find that? In Bloomfield Hills, right? Friend or family member in need of money urgently. Hey, that nephew you've never heard of that's up in upstate New York in some prison needs money to get out. These are things they're going to tell you because they don't want our friends and family in trouble. We want our friends and family safe. That's where we got to for these guys, right? It's those same levers over and over. If you learn to spot them, the scams are a lot easier to identify. For the payment notifications, an email from PayPal saying you bought a new iPhone, $1,700, $1,800. I see these every day. Text messages saying, hey, thanks for your purchase. If you have any disputes, click here. Any of these can be defended against, but the step one is understanding there's something to work with, understanding there's something wrong with that message coming in. If you didn't expect it, question it. Fine or fee from government agency, same pieces we were talking about before. Hey, you owe this from this freeway. You have a scam call, somebody literally ringing up your phone saying, hey, this is Bob from the IRS Collections Department official. You owe us money. I guarantee you if somebody calls you up saying they're from the IRS, they're not from the IRS. They don't do that. They may send a lawyer. I doubt it, but that's really extreme. Usually they'll send a piece of paper. It's the government. They want to do it that way. They're very fond of it. Maybe an email, probably physical paper in the mail. And if they do call you, say, great, send me something in writing. Because all of a sudden you took it from an automated system through some AI into something they have to spend money, track down your physical address instead of just a phone number, and then go through a lot of traceable paperwork. They don't want to do that. Make them do that extra work. If it's the government, it's par for the course, they won't care, which means it's not risky. Friend or family member in need of urgent money. Again, help, I'm stuck, I'm in a bad situation. This is your brother Bob's, third cousin twice removed. I'm stuck in Texas and I need a bus ride home. That can happen, but it doesn't happen calling a relative that far removed, or even a friend from high school. You hear somebody on Facebook saying, hey, you haven't heard from me in 55 years, but I want to talk to you. It may be, but if the first thing they ask for is money, it's probably not your friend. Definitely question these. Specifically, if you're getting messages for them to, shift communications over to WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram. If these aren't apps you're on for professional reasons, you probably don't need to be on them. There are reasons in my industry where I'm connected with people from all over the world talking in conversations about keeping people secure. It can have legitimate uses, but for most people, unless they're in those communities, there's no need for it. It's just a risk. And scammers use them all the time because they're easy to hide what they're doing. Rules to keep you safe. This is a slide I put a lot of time into. I wanted to make sure I had a clear and concise stack of rules that would help this community grow and stay safe together. Don't click type. If you see a link in an email, do not click it, especially if it sounds really urgent. If it says it's from your bank, great. If you're banking at PNC, don't click the link, go to pnc.com and log in like you normally would. Because if they put something shady in the link, if it doesn't go where it's supposed to, you've completely skipped over the scam part of this adventure. Take it slow. This one's critical. There's one common thread against all these scams, and that's you've got to make a decision right now. It's urgent. Somebody's hurt. Somebody's lost. You're going to get billed. You're going to get in trouble. It's a press for time. Slow down. Take a breath. Take your time to process. If you got friends and family members you can call for a second opinion, do it. The more you slow down and make careful decisions, the more likely you are to actually come out ahead of this instead of getting caught up in these scams that have become all too common. Trust your records. This is one that I love, especially about an older adult community. We have records going back years. We have understanding of who's supposed to be billing us, who's not. We've got tracking on a lot of it. Maybe not every individual, but the majority. I know that I've got a paper phone book still at the house. If somebody calls me up and says, you know, hey, this is your cousin John from, you know, your mom's brother. Great, but I know my cousins. I've got their names, I know who they married, I know where they're living. Not everybody does, but enough that I know none of them live in Tennessee. Like there's little pieces of record we've got. Another great one is, let's say it's a tax record. If you know you've got paper records of the last 10 years of your taxes, somebody calls you up saying you didn't pay, you know different. Great, send me a bill, we'll discuss it. Don't take the bait, don't pay the money over the phone. That gets me on to step 4, put it in writing. An actual government, or an actual bill or a government agency will absolutely send you a paper bill upon request, no exceptions. If they say no, if they say you have to pay right now, if they try to urge you to do something like buy gift cards to pay it, that is not a government agency of any flavor, this country or any other that I'm aware of. And the last one is plan ahead. This one's something that is exceptionally community driven that I think is going to help us the most. If you're having unease, if you don't want to be feeling awkward when somebody calls up and says, you know, hey, I'm in trouble, have those conversations in advance with your friends and family. Say, hey, there's a lot of scams going on. I'm worried about it. If you ever need to call me and it's an emergency, I'm probably going to ask you a couple silly questions like where you went to high school or what our dog's name was so that I know it's you, and that keeps both of us safe. It's simple advice, it's data you already know, and it will help be a very common conversation if we can make that part of our community conversation where it's just kind of an unexpected. If you call from a new number, great, can you email me as well so I know this is your right number? I do it with my friends, I do it with people from all over. It helps me establish. In my community and in InfoSec, it's called second factor of authentication or second contact point, second channel. It allows us to actually connect and say, yep, I know this is who I think I'm talking to. For friends and family, they're probably going to think it's a little weird, but if it's the 5th time they've been asked because a bunch of people in the community are asking, it starts becoming the new normal, and we all get a little more protection out of it. So these are the primary things that I've got for you. The last thing I wanted to bring up is a very kind of direct point in my world. I'm not going to reach everybody in this city or everybody in this county or even everybody in this library by getting up here and talking. The way that's going to happen is if you all go out, talk to your friends, talk to your family. We all have a couple of friends in the a couple people in the family that maybe have lost half a step, maybe aren't going to be as defensible against this type of scam. I'm not going to be able to reach every house and every person to talk to this. I need the community to come together and talk so that we are one voice. We are talking to each other. We are helping spread that news. Because even if I can't be in every conversation, you can spread that and then they can spread that. That's how this community is going to get stronger and these scams are going to be less impactful to, frankly, a part of our community that needs the support the most. Thank you. Any questions?
I still have a landline. They've gotten so slick they even clone things, okay? So all my phone calls go right into voicemail, okay? And then of course, I can block them. Well, they've gotten so slick that they call me on my cell phone now. And the one that you didn't say is, I want $1 million, okay? And I mean, they come at you. And on when they send me emails, which I get a ton of them, first thing I do is put my cursor on where it came from. Joe's Bargain Barn, and it says it's the IRS. So I know it's not.
Absolutely.
I always call the bank, I always call whatever. If it's one of the ones that I have, then I will call directly to say, did you send me something? All the rest of them, if it says some bank, I block it, because they just inundate you with this crap.
Yep.
So, and for whatever reason, they know I'm old.
It's-
And they just seem like they glom onto seniors.
They absolutely do. They absolutely age target it.
Oh, yeah, and then some seniors talk to them because they're lonely. And then you have the scams where, you know, they want to be your friend, or your nephew. Oh, you mean Fred? Well, I don't have a nephew named Fred, if I do answer. So I know that it's BS. And if it is Fred, he's going to have to work it out himself.
Yep.
Okay, so.
And those types of tactics, those bits of wisdom shared over and over through conversations in this community, how much stronger are we going to be if those conversations are happening even weekly with just your group of friends and then their group of friends?
Yeah, my mom got caught up in one about her computer, and it took over her computer.
Yep, very
And
common.
then, you know, I told her shut it down, and then go get it cleaned, because they're gonna, you know, they've got you locked in. So anytime you click on a link that you don't know, you could be in all kind of trouble.
Yep. And I don't want this to be a message of fear. I want this to be a message of empowerment.
Yes.
We have the tools, we have people we can talk to, we have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to take a minute, I need to read this, I need to spend some time thinking about it. This is not be afraid of your computer, this is be mindful about how you use it, much like driving a car. It's possible to use it recklessly and dangerously, but it's also possible to get a lot of benefit out of having that access. So as long as we're mindful about the risks involved, we can build a stronger community and
Yeah, your
safer
cell phone's a
cyber
computer.
highways.
Yeah, your cell phone's a computer. I mean,
Absolutely.
They could lock in on you and get all your stuff if they want, if you're not careful.
100%.
Yeah.
You have another question, sir?
Yes. Adam, as far as this presentation, could I get a copy of that PowerPoint?
Absolutely. I'll make sure that the organizers have a copy of it. Absolutely. I'll make sure the organizers here, Jim, has a copy of it, and then they can pass it out to anybody that has a request.
Okay, so I'll contact you.
Yeah, we'll get it on the
Okay, I'll
website
see you
somewhere.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Second thing, your particular role, is that in defense of the county information, or are you a service to me as an individual?
I work directly for the county service, so I am primarily tasked with making sure any websites, any data, any computers that are owned and operated by the county are protected. So that's my role.
Okay.
So this isn't like they brought me up here as a public service. They brought me up here because
That's what I was
that's just my
trying to
day
get.
job, taking care of the county.
So basically, you're not my contact.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
There are services available. I don't know that they are county funded, but there are also senior services available in general. We can discuss it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things
And here's the thought that I have, is that today, and I'm finding this in my own experience, that these things are coming over at me all the time. I mean, the escalation on this has just gone rampant. And you're susceptible.
Yep.
I mean, you could be 99% right, and that 1% is gonna get you. And they got me on a credit card. And essentially, it creates all kinds of havoc, as you know, and I gotta get on with my statement. What are we doing from a standpoint of getting off of defense and onto the offense role? We're constantly hearing someone tell me what to do to defend myself. What are we doing to get these people out of the ballgame?
So there's actually a lot of progress being made on that. This is not a question from the Oakland County seat. This is not a question at the Oakland County level. This is a question at a much higher level. So this is federal government, federal laws, state laws as well.
Interject there,
Yeah.
because we're always hearing that. I don't see any results. And if I go, for example, I went to my local police department with cybercrime detective there, and essentially he was not able to help me at all. And if we're in that role, all we're doing is collecting data on how people are getting mescaline. I think if you could use your position to try and find out what's the federal government getting done to stop this, I don't see it happening. All I see is the news telling me, beware. Television every night saying, beware, beware, beware. They're telling me what to do, and then they don't tell me how to do it, and they don't tell me it's getting stopped.
So,
see those three things?
yep, absolutely. To answer your question directly, in the last 10 years, I know of at least 5 major pieces of legislation, regardless of whatever's going on in Washington, that have been passed to help restrict that. They have completely broken down at least 5 major call centers that I'm aware of that were part of this scam operation internationally. So the problem isn't that nothing's being done. The problem is that the bad guys are aggressing so fast that we're playing a game of escalation. Right.
We're losing the game.
But it's not that there's no activity. It's that the activity is so well funded that we're struggling to overcome it because of the nature of it. It's war. It's literally war from a cyber perspective.
Your job and my job as it was, management by results.
Sure.
I was always evaluated based upon the results. And if I came in and said the job got half done, my boss was all over me like a junkyard dog. So basically, we gotta get into that mode of, hey, we're expecting results.
I disagree.
Why?
Because if you think of this as a job that can be done, that can be completed, instead of an ongoing journey that will not stop, you're missing the point. This
So
is
you're saying it's
what-
not correct.
How does the work on a farm get done?
No, let's go back to that original statement.
Sure.
Metaphors, I don't want.
Well, that's not a metaphor. The work gets done every
And I'm
season
not
because it
arguing.
keeps going.
Please understand, I'm not arguing.
No, it's a good
I'm
conversation.
disappointed, okay?
Sure.
You don't have to go any further.
Okay.
But
I have more
please think
resources
about
I can offer
me.
if you'd like
You're
offline.
in a position I'm not in.
Am I?
Well, I don't know. At least you're seeing what's happening.
Oh, for sure.
So you can be telling your boss, we've got big trouble here. Imagine what the aged people in our community are facing.
Hmm. Oh, I agree.
What can we do to stop it?
Have conversations like this
That's
one as
all.
publicly as we can. That's what we can do, and that's what we're doing. That's not meant to be a disregard. That's direct. This is part of what that effort looks like.
So if we were gonna be on a defensive mode, maybe this isn't your job, but maybe within the elder community, we do have classes maybe that we can attend. This is, here are the upgrades. These are the things we've seen now.
Mhm.
This is the techniques that they're using. I don't have interaction with people at work anymore. So my community of operation has dwindled.
Right.
You're in the thick of it. People go to work every day.
Yeah.
You're in the thick of having that community you're talking about. That's going away for me.
Okay, I can hear that.
Okay.
No, that's a
Sorry
good
hold
point to
it.
bring up. All right. Any other follow-on questions, or we want to wrap? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Next, coming up. Department, she's got a presentation for you. Natalie?
All right, well, good morning. My name is Natalie Arabu. I am a health educator with the Health Division. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about prescription drugs and how to properly dispose of them. Our agenda, we're going to stay fairly close to it today. I'll give you guys a brief introduction on what opioids are, the purpose of our program, what my role is as a technical support rep. We have some services and resources we'll provide them. I have a little bit of time for a Q&A portion, and then we do have a post-test that you don't have to take, but if you would like to give your feedback, we always welcome it. To start us off, what is an opioid? So there are 3 different types of opioids. There are natural, so those are your morphine and your codeine. Your semi-synthetics are your oxycodone, your Norco, hydrocodone, even heroin. And then your synthetic opioids are methadone and fentanyl. The reason these opioids are important because if there is ever an instance where these opioids are misused and you overdose, there is Narcan available, which I have brought some here today if you would like more content. Well, actually, I'll show you where you're about to get some. Narcan is a medication that reverses an opioid overdose in the body about 30 to 90 minutes. We still recommend that you call 911. It is available here today as a nasal spray. That is what's available to the public. However, if you're in a hospital setting, it's available as a vial or injection. We always recommend that you have Narcan on you, just because the symptoms of an opioid overdose mimic the symptoms of a heart attack. So it's very hard to distinguish what is occurring. And the reason I like to bring this up with our senior community is because I'll give you my personal example. My father is a senior. He is 76 years old and he is a war veteran. So he got to the age where he needed that double knee transplant. He needed both of them done, and this guy went like a champ and got both of them done at the same time. Now, the reason I'm going to mention he's a war vet because he's very tough. He does not like to admit he's in pain, and he refused to take his narcotics. He refused to take those opioids, those Norcos. But he was also prescribed an antibiotic that he had to take for a dental procedure he was having done a few weeks after the surgery, just to prevent any bacteria forming. You know, we want to make sure he's okay, especially right after surgery. And with my father being a little older, he's seeing these names, he's mixing up his medications. Thank God he gave me a phone call and he asked, do I take these 4 blue pills, which were his antibiotics, or do I take 4 of these Norcos before my dental procedure? Now, thank God he called me. I explained it to him. Now, had he taken 4 of those Norcos, he would have immediately overdosed and needed Narcan to save his life. We always recommend that you have Narcan on you. If you are to obtain Narcan through a pharmacy, it is $150. I know that because I used to charge that when I worked at a pharmacy. Insurance does not cover it. However, in Oakland County, we offer them for free in our Save a Life stations. We have them everywhere. On our website, I can always send over the links. I'll send the PowerPoint over to the organizers. You can go there and you can grab these Narcans for free. We also have xylazine and fentanyl test strips. So these are for medications that are obtained outside of a pharmacy. Do you guys catch what I'm saying? All right. Now, fentanyl is an opioid. Remember, it can be reversed by Narcan. Xylazine is a horse tranquilizer. It is not an opioid and it cannot be reversed by Narcan. We like to make that distinction, but we still have the test strips available because currently in some of the supplies that we are seeing out in the county that these medications that are purchased outside of the pharmacy are containing medications that are hazardous, and one of them is xylazine that is now entered the supply, and fentanyl has entered the supply. This is not the same fentanyl that you receive in the hospital and medical settings. A little bit of statistics on what we've done. We have our harm reduction program, and they stock these Save a Life stations. I'm going to date myself a little bit, but if you guys remember back in the day, they had these like newspaper stands. You guys remember that? Or am I? Okay, I'm not that old. Those newspaper stands are now Save a Life stations. So if you ever see those in the county, those you can open them up. They're free. They don't charge a quarter anymore. They're free. You go in there. We have resources, flyers, Narcan, those test strips, and then we have Deterra bags, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. We also have vending machines throughout the county where you can grab Narcan for free. They're all on our website. You just plug in your location, and it'll tell you the closest Save a Life station to you. A couple of our boring data, but it's actually super important. Over that 1.5-year time frame, we've had about 430 overdoses where Narcan rescued those individuals. Takes us a little bit of time to get our data updated, but we're getting there. I'll have some of our end of year data coming out in the next month or so. A couple of programs that we also offer that are preventative is we start with our kids. So we have Catch My Breath, which is a vaping prevention program that we go into schools. So we are in grades 5 through 12, all throughout the county, public, private schools. We are everywhere. We are talking to these kids about vaping. We also help them get those essential life skills that they need to make really important decisions. A program that's complementary to it is Vape 101. Is this shaking or is that me? I don't know. Okay. Vape 101, it is very similar to Catch My Breath. However, it is for adults. It is also for our seniors or anyone just working with the youth. We talk about why vaping is so important, why the teens and the youth are so attracted to it. We do have it available in person and online. We have these programs rolling out monthly. The Vape 101 Catch My Breath is specifically for schools, so we coordinate those with the schools. Another program we coordinate with our schools is social emotional health and alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs through Michigan Model. Currently, it is available for 4th and 5th grade. Very similar to Catch My Breath, however, we focus on mental health and we also focus on alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, just depending on what the schools are comfortable with us going in there and talking about. Now, specifically this safe disposal program, which is what I want to focus on today, about why we have this program and why it's important to dispose of medications that you may no longer need or have expired. We offer these services over the phone. You can always give me a phone call. My number is the first one. However, I'm stepping out of this role as of last Monday, so there will be someone else taking over for me. But since I made this commitment, I really wanted to be here today. But you are still welcome to give me a call. My card is on the table. My partner, Melanie, will be fully taking over. But you can give us a call, ask us if there's something you need disposed of, how do we do it, where do I go? We've answered so many different types of questions where we've become very familiar in the county with what you may have that you need to get rid of and how we can do that safely. You can leave me a voicemail. I know how to check that. So don't worry, I got you guys. My parents are always leaving me voicemails, but just give me about a day or two to respond back to it. My email address is on the board. Once again, just grab my cards. It's a lot easier than jotting down notes while I'm talking. All right, so this last year, about a year and a half it took me, I looked into every single police station, law enforcement station, so that's including the sheriff stations, and pharmacies in Oakland County. And we asked them, what do you guys accept back? Now, if you see those mailbox looking white, blue, black, whatever color they have them, those are bins at the pharmacy and police stations where you can go and dispose of your unwanted and expired medications. I have a full list in the back. I have two lists actually. One for our police and sheriff stations, one for our pharmacies. Every pharmacy in Oakland County that accepts medications, including tablets, capsules, liquids, inhalers, topicals, including creams, some accept injections, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. We have that list for you and we have it available. We do have a very quick video to watch. Do we still have time? Are we okay? I could skip it. Yeah, all right, we'll skip it. The gist of it, don't flush your medications. If you have medications you need to get rid of, we have these deterra bags. They are in the back, they are black. What you do is if you cannot go to any location to dispose of your medications for whatever reason, you don't want to leave the house or you don't have a ride, whatever your situation is, in these bags, it tells you how to activate it. So it's like a Ziploc bag. And you'll activate it with liquid. It'll tell you how much water to put in there, how many capsules or tablets it can hold, how many patches it can hold, how much liquid, as in like cough syrup, anything like that. And it will completely deactivate that medication, and that's including narcotics. So if you have like high set liquid, it will deactivate. If you have any Norcos, it'll deactivate it. I have them back there. I strongly recommend you grab one and just keep it on you. They may be temperature dependent. The Narcans are too, and they have expiration dates, so just double check them. They should be okay. Main thing is don't flush your medications. deterra bags are also available in those Save a Life stations that I talked about. All right. Sharps and needles, what everyone asks me about. Your diabetic supplies. To get rid of them, you have a couple options. You can get a Sharps container. You can purchase that at the pharmacies. Here's a little hint. If you go through a mail order pharmacy, you can get them for free. You don't even need a prescription. You need a prescription for your medication that requires sharps, but some mail order pharmacies give them out for free. I used to work for Henry Ford. Our mail order pharmacy used to give them out for free. And what you would do is you mail them back to the location on the box. If this is not an option, you can put them in like Tide detergent bottles or like a glass container. Don't fill it more than 2/3 full to prevent accidental poking. What you will do is you will completely seal it off, write on there that it has sharps and needles, and then you are able to throw it in the trash. However, if you would like to bring them into the health division, we do have sharps containers around, and we're actually getting a few more in the county, so you will be seeing sharps containers for you guys to dispose of those. Another thing we don't typically think about is e-cigarettes. Those are hazardous waste and should be treated as such. They should be disposed of. How you dispose of any of these products, we actually have a date coming up, I think it's in April, where you can bring in household waste items and dispose of them properly. We have our hazardous waste team. We do this presentation because we want you guys to be safe and to protect yourself and those future generations. So if you have medications that you are not using, please keep them locked up and safe away from pets and our children. Any questions? Yes.
So is this oriented towards not polluting our environment? In other words, what if, I don't do it, but I'm just trying to get the whys.
There's
If
several
you
whys,
just
yeah.
throw your medications into junk.
Well, that's not safe to do.
And
That's
what
why we
happens-
skipped that video. That would have been a little
I'm
dumb.
asking,
Yeah.
would it normally tear down itself?
No,
Or would that be a permanent threat?
it would be a threat, yes.
Okay, that's right, there's the
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Okay. Second thing is, you're getting to me, and a lot of those things, I don't have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But as part of the community, I'm
Mhm.
listening to it saying, if I pick up one of these boxes that you're talking about, and I carry that around,
Mhm.
you start out by saying, hey, problem is, you don't know if they're having a heart attack
Mhm.
or this.
Mm-hmm.
How do I determine that? In other
Okay,
words,
yeah.
somebody just
That's a
falls
great
down
question.
and basically there's smoke
Yeah.
in the room, and I've got this in here.
Mm-hmm. That
How
is
am
a
I
great
guided?
question. So, a couple of ways you can approach that. One, we do offer Narcan training. It's about 5 minutes long, very quick, or you could just watch a YouTube video. It'll help you distinguish the signs between a heart attack and an opioid overdose. However, with Narcan, this
Stop
is
right there. How do I see that?
what do you want to see?
You just told me that you have a video.
There is a YouTube video that is on our health division page, or you can just go on YouTube and type in Narcan training. It comes up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would that be in your material that I'm gonna get from?
It is not in our materials, no. So the second part to your question is, if someone's having a heart attack versus an opioid overdose, the symptoms are very similar. The great thing about Narcan is that it does not interact with any other medications. So if someone is having a heart attack, you give them Narcan, unfortunately, they will continue having the heart attack. If you give Narcan to someone who's having an opioid overdose, it has the potential to save their life. That is the distinction. Any other questions?
So you're saying that, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they have a heart attack or not. Only
Yeah,
problem
if
is
you are
it gets
comfortable,
wrong,
go ahead and do
it's
it.
narcotics,
Yeah.
they're basically gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you are comfortable, you are welcome to go ahead and do it, and we
Okay.
strongly encourage it.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? No? All right, thank you guys. Sorry, I was trying not to go over time.
Thanks, Natalie. Our next speaker is from our Transportation Department, the Chief of all.
And I think if I'm going to get the bus on time, we got to be out of here in 5 minutes. So I'm going to run through these slides. Can you hear me in the back? I'm from New York, so I've got a loud voice, and I can also speak very fast. But if I go too fast that you can't understand what I'm saying, slow me down. My name is Eli Cooper. I'm the Transit Division Manager, and I've got an agenda that's supposed to cover about 10 minutes, so I'm going to try to do it in about 8 minutes. I'm going to talk to you about Oakland County Transit, a new program. This community is served primarily by SMART. I'll give you some ideas about the different services that SMART has and how to get in touch with them. As far as the county's concerned, and again, this is the abbreviated version, we have 5 operators. Their logos are up on the screen behind me. The transit millage passed in 2022. I was hired by the county in March of 23, and we have, in the short period of time, reasonably short, we've managed to provide services throughout the entire county. And I'll have another map and you'll see how that lays out. The goals are what you would expect. Can you get where you want to go? Is the service reliable? Is it accessible? And there are some other benefits, sustainability, and also for folks who are veterans, we have This Rides on Us free veteran program. So there's a lot of goals and aspirations. It's not just myself and my staff, but we work with 5 transit providers that I mentioned, and we coordinate with them. We have agreements with them. We hold them to a high standard, and they are outstanding service providers. The 5 providers include, and this is what I call my bingo card. So when I was hired back in 2023, we had a large portion of the county where there was no transit service. The card is full. Okay, somebody wants to hold my feet to the fire. Novi Township is not signed up with PEX, but if you live in that community, PEX will pick you up. Similarly, the north boundary of Northville is also in Oakland County, although the community is primarily in Wayne County. If you live there and you call People's Express, they'll pick you up. Based on the colors, green, the light green is North Oakland. NOTA, the orange color, I think it's projecting as orange. That's Western Oakland Transit. The blue is People's Express. The gray and black is in the Rochester Hills area, that's OPC. And where we are in Bloomfield Township is the southeast part of the county, primarily green, that's the SMART service area. A lot of what I want to talk about is SMART because they're the primary provider for you as residents within this community. They have fixed route service, they have connector service, they have paratransit for folks who are disabled. They also have the equivalent of a public Uber in certain sub areas. The reason that I'm introducing Flex, which is that public Uber, is it will be coming, it's planned for the Bloomfield Township area. Don't ask me when, that's a SMART decision in terms of when they implement that part of their plan. For those of you who are interested in reaching out to SMART, all the phone numbers are there. I can talk to you after the formal presentation about what number to call and what type of service you're interested in, because I deal with those calls a lot, and it's usually like about 5 to 10 minutes in order just to walk through what kind of service are you looking for. The fixed route, everyone recognizes that bus. Those are the big old 40-foot buses, and there are a handful of routes that run on the primary arterials through the community. The general service, you see the small bus, and again, most of us in Oakland County are now familiar, they're all over the place. They could be either a connector service or an ADA service. You can't tell the difference by looking at the vehicle. It's the exact same. They're all the SMART services are wheelchair accessible. And the difference is the connector is limited to 10 miles of travel distance, and they have limited capacity. The ADA paratransit is a federal requirement that SMART has to adhere to. It has to align with the fixed route scheduling, 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. If the route that is near where you live is running, they will have to pick you up. Flex is a public Uber, $2 a ride anywhere within the district. And then also for folks in the community, there's the Bloomfield Township Senior Services. If SMART's not able to meet your needs, they're a community-based provider. They're indirectly supported by the county through SMART. To the extent that someone's looking for planning a trip, there are a couple different ways. You can go to the SMART Bus website itself. They have a trip planner there. There's also a handy new transit app that they have worked with a private provider, and it will allow you to plan a trip, say where you are, where you're going. It'll literally give you a step-by-step direction, how much the fare is, how long it's going to take for you to get there. Really handy tool. There's also a Google Transit app. Talk about the future, and this is where the Smarter Mobility Plan comes in. This is Smart serves 3 counties, right? It's Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne. The area, and I'll point to it on the map up here, this is Oakland County. You can see the blue is modified routes. The purple areas are the flex service. The one that I'm pointing to now is the Bloomfield Flex. That's proposed. I can't tell you when it's going to start, but this connects to the Farmington Flex, and if you're in this area, you can reach the Flex service number either with the app or their phone number. Once it's running, that'll be a great thing. The other thing that is important, 3 years ago when I started with the county, Smart had what I'll call a black eye. They didn't have sufficient resources to hire enough drivers, so they had what were called ghost buses. They also were miserable at being on time at a particular bus stop. And I could say that I'm currently a Smart board member, and so I'm not calling them something. I'm saying this is a statement of history and it's fact. Smart currently has a program internally where their on-time performance is now not at the bottom of the boat, but they're at the industry standard. We used to have citizens come to our committee members and complain about the bus didn't show up, the bus was late. Haven't seen a person in a year and a half since Smart signed new labor contracts, hired drivers, and they've cleaned up their service, which was what they were planning to do. So it's getting better, give them a try. This is a lot of detail. How do you get on a bus? You stand at the bus stop. When it comes by, you wave so the driver sees you. You get on, have your fare ready, pay, sit down. When you go to get off the bus, you can tell the driver when you get on where you want to get off. A couple blocks before you get there, you can either tell the driver or push the button, pull the cord, depending on what's on that specific vehicle. The bus driver will stop at the immediate next bus stop. Please exit through the rear door. You say, why? Well, because there's 2 doors on the bus. The front door, the driver's welcoming new riders and administering their fare. Most people don't know you enter from the front, leave from the back, there you go. Now you got a little extra tip. That's about all there is to riding a bus. Make sure you're on the right route so you can see the numbers on the front of it. On the demand response, connector, ADA, you have to call. The phone numbers were on the screen before. We also have this handy dandy guide. I look around the room, I think each one of you are probably registered voters that are older than 55. You got this in your mailbox. There are more copies on the back table. All the phone numbers for Smart and the other providers are in there. Call, register as a rider. So these demand response trips, you've got to be registered because they're going to pick you up at your house. And so they need to know where your house is. You need to be registered. And once you do that, you call, depending on the type of service, ADA, a day or 2 in advance, connector 3 to 6 days in advance, and they'll book your ride and just show up, have your fare ready, and you're on your way. They accept cash. There's the transit app that has a payment, and there's also passes, multi-day passes you can get either through the mail or at the transit centers, the closest one here, Royal Oak. Different fares, I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole presentation itself, from discounted fares, senior fares, young fares. The Flex, this is, like I said, a public Uber. What happens is it's coming. Here's the phone number there. When you look at your smartphone, you will see a screen that says, where would you like to go? You just type it in, and it will tell you the bus will meet you, and it'll give you a location that you will walk to, or they'll pick you up where you are. You get on, and because it's an app, you have prepaid because your credit card is connected to the app. Be careful about scams, because the fact is Flex isn't calling anybody, but if you go out to the Transit Flex app, register, you'll be asked to put in a payment system, and then when you book the trip, I've done it. When your trip is done, it debits your account and you're charged for the trip. And it's typically $2. It gives you, as you can see on the far right side, it'll give you a map of where you're picking up, where you're going to, and we'll have actual discussion of what that trip entails. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Any DD 214 veterans in the room? The answer is none. If you know anybody who is a veteran who had DD 214 is honorable discharge papers, free service on any of these providers anywhere in Oakland County. when this goes out, we have an online survey. We are really, as the county, interested in how well or how not so well we're doing in transit. And so we have been running surveys for the last year. We're going to be running them forward to make sure that we're on point with what you want. And there's a QR code. It's going to be part of this slideshow. Every 4 or 5 months, we put a new QR code. There's a new survey. Feel free to take it, share it with friends, family, coworkers. The more input, the better. And I'm done. How did I do?
Nice.
What did it say?
Thank you, Eli.
I have a question on it.
Go ahead, please.
In terms of this Smart Flex.
Yes.
Is that operational now, or is this something?
It's operational in Farmington, Farmington Hills, Troy, and Pontiac. Not in the Bloomfield zone. That's not operating yet.
And as far as these independent units, they're governing their area, and you have this coordination between areas, right? And that's basically what you're talking about.
Yes.
Do you see any software in the United States of America that could be installed in this county to integrate all of it?
So a couple things. First of all, we, the county, have a contract with each one of them. I have policies that require that they integrate with one another. So if you're in Oxford and you want to go to South Lyon, all you need to do is call your local provider. In that case, it would be NODA. The dispatcher who takes the call will ask, where do you want to go? They will call you back, and then they'll reach out to People's Express, come up with the transfer location behind the scenes, schedule that trip, and then they'll call you back and say, we can do it. So
That's very awkward, as you know, because
No,
it's overhead within your organization.
what I'm saying to you right now, for the consumer, it's the same one call, and it's awkward from the operation standpoint. I'm not going to disagree with that. Smart is a 3-county provider. They have 80 small transit providers, kind of like Bloomfield Senior, supported by Smart. All 4 of my NODA WODA all support. So they're in the process now of procuring a regional dispatch software. So everyone's going to be online, but that's, I was told when I started it was going to be online 2.5 years ago. They're in procurement now. It's likely to be procured by the end of the year. Implementation is probably the fall at the earliest,
And
best
that's what
case.
I'd like to see us now, because I've had experience with friends that this scenario that you defined is ideal, but it didn't work. And that could have been just because of the circumstances of that one zone.
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying that this is
We-
basically a very positive description of something.
Yeah, what I could say to everybody is that for a 2.5, 3-year-old program, we've made great strides. We've got the entire county covered. We're guaranteeing trips anywhere within the county through the collaboration. Behind the scenes, one call for an operator, to an operator, and it's going to get better as we go forward over time. Sir,
When are you going to take charge of all that?
excuse me?
When are you going to take charge of that?
So the county has got a plan to talk about integrating the operators, and the plan has a horizon of 2032 before the next millage. Question, please?
Just curious, the Flex program, it's kind of in targeted areas. Is that the plan to only kind of hit targeted areas, or is the plan to
Yeah.
eventually get that expanded?
So the type of service that Flex is requires a certain number of trips within a geographic area. And because the geographic areas are small, the operators that are operating these Flex services can take 1 or 2 people, and there's enough trips within that sub area that they're able to serve it. If they had to take long trips, it's not going to work. That's where the dial-a-ride demand response services, they do the dispatch, they can take you greater distances. The Flex is a very small geographic area.
Eli, can you tell them the percentage of rides from the time we started this process to now? It's increased.
So I think we're at and I should look to Charlotte, my colleague, and I think it's 300% increase since the millage was adopted. I don't want to overstate it, but it's phenomenal.
So you have the funding you want?
We have the funding that's necessary to support every trip that's been asked for, yes. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Eli.
Good to see you.
Bus riding 101. Anybody, any other questions on anything we presented today before I bring Tiffany up to close us out? One comment I do want to make regarding bus service. If you're like me, you like to go down to the ball game, you can catch a fast bus on Woodward, and as a senior, you pay 50 cents. I do not pay $20 to park my car anymore. It drops you off in front of the ballpark, picks you up in front of the ballpark, and brings you back. So that is a good investment.
Thank you, Jim. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out today. I'm Tiffany Moncrief-Luke. I'm the Manager of Community Engagement. We want to thank you on behalf of our Older Adult Services and most importantly on behalf of Executive David Coulter for coming out today. Please feel free to stop at the back, get some materials. If you want more information about the presentations that were presented today, leave your email address, and then that way we'll work with our presenters to make sure that we get that for you. All of these services are services from the county. So if you have direct questions about anything, please reach out to the subject experts and they'll be able to share. Also, let us know if you would like for us to come back to this community, and then that way we can increase and make sure that we have enough people to come out. So we're starting, this is our 4th one that we've done, and we're looking forward to broadcasting across more areas. We're working in conjunction with the Board of Commissioners to reach as many districts as possible. So if you have friends who live in other areas of the county, ask them to be on the lookout for in their district when we will be coming and doing our town hall.